She was raped by her cousin at 9, sexually abused again by a family friend and an uncle, beaten regularly by her grandmother for spilling water or breaking a glass. Pregnant at 14, her son died within a week, sent to a detention home, raised on a farm so poor her grandmother beat her for asking questions, and by the age of 32, she became a millionaire. By 41, she was worth $340 million. By the age of 51, she became the first African-American billionaire in history. Her name is Oprah Gail Winfrey. Born January 29, 1954, in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, a rural town where the poverty was so complete that her grandmother taught her to read before she was 3 years old, because that was the only escape available. According to historical records documented by the Academy of Achievement, Oprah was reciting Bible verses and poems in church by age 3. She had already learned what the system would take decades to teach her. Words were survival. Her mother, Vernita Lee, was 18 when Oprah was born. Her father, Vernon Winfrey, was 20 and gone. Oprah was left on the farm with her grandmother, Hattie Mae Lee, in what many would call a life sentence. But her grandmother, strict, abusive, unforgiving, also made her literate when literacy was the only ladder out. At 6, Oprah was sent to Milwaukee to live with her mother. According to accounts documented in her own published writings, she was made to sleep on the porch of a boarding house. At 9, her cousin raped her. Nobody protected her. Nobody reported it. Nobody acknowledged it happened. She was just a child carrying trauma in silence. The way millions of black children have carried trauma in this country. Alone, ashamed, believing it was somehow her fault. Between 9 and 13, the abuse continued. Different men, same silence, same shame, same understanding that her body wasn't hers, that her voice didn't matter, that she existed to be used. At 13, she ran away. At 14, she became pregnant. Her mother's response wasn't compassion, it was a detention home, but her father, Vernon, had different plans. According to Oprah's own testimony, when her son was born prematurely and died within a week, her father told her, "This is your second chance. This is your opportunity. Know better, do better." She understood him. From that moment, Oprah stopped asking permission to survive. She stopped waiting for the world to validate her humanity. She started moving like someone who already knew she was meant for more. She won a scholarship to Tennessee State University. She took a job at a radio station while still in high school. She became a news anchor. She became a talk show host. And then in 1986, according to Forbes Business Archives, she did something that had never been done before. She negotiated ownership of her own talk show. She became the first woman to produce and star in her own program. The Oprah Winfrey Show aired for 25 seasons. It reached 139 countries. It made her a millionaire by 32. But the real legacy wasn't the money. It was what she did with it. According to the Oprah Winfrey Foundation records, she donated hundreds of millions to education, women's empowerment, and disaster relief. In 2007, she built a $40 million leadership academy for girls in South Africa. The girls nobody wanted to educate, the ones the world had written off, the ones who reminded her of herself. She has donated to over 55 schools in 12 countries. She created a book club that turned unknown authors into best-selling writers. She produced films. She created networks. She became so influential that Time magazine has listed her among the 100 most influential people on earth multiple times. But here's what they don't emphasize enough. Every single thing Oprah built came from someone who was supposed to stay broken. The statistics say that children who experience what Oprah experienced, poverty, abuse, abandonment, sexual trauma, are statistically more likely to end up incarcerated, addicted, or dead. Not on Forbes lists, not producing Broadway shows, not owning media empires, not changing the world. And yet, Oprah took the worst that the system could hand her and transformed it into empathy. She took her trauma and turned it into connection. She took her pain and built platforms where millions of people, most of them survivors like her, could finally feel seen, finally feel heard, finally feel like their stories mattered. In 2013, the President of the United States gave her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In 2021, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences gave her the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award. But the real award, the one that matters, is that she stayed alive. She stayed human. She stayed connected to her own story and used it to touch millions. This is what resilience looks like when it's rooted in refusing to become what happened to you. And what did you take away from Oprah's story? Because it's not just about her. It's about what becomes possible when someone refuses to let their past define their ceiling. Drop a real comment, not sympathy, understanding. What does her journey teach you about your own?